All right. This is take 2. Let's see if it works. Man, the technology just gets me, you guys. Hopefully. Waiting for feedback. And then I feel awkward about these long pauses at the beginning while I'm waiting to find out if things are working. I'm using something called Lightstream to try and broadcast for my live streams now because YouTube has changed their rules. So you can't broadcast direct to YouTube through your phone anymore if you don't have 1,000 subscribers, which I don't. But that's okay. I'm trying to figure out how to use the webcam and microphone that I have to do the same thing because we can still broadcast from a desktop as long as you have that. But unfortunately, having to add that extra step of another interface is a little bit confusing for me. I'm not the world's most tech person, as you guys know, and I don't seem to be getting it right, unfortunately, which is really frustrating for me, and I imagine for other people who are expecting me to be running these streams on time. So, yeah, not totally sure what's going on here. Um, just trying to see what's happening. Oh, looks like we have a live stream. Hey, maybe this is actually working now. Score. All right, we're going to operate on that assumption and carry on. So, as I was kind of doing my setup for the last video, I was seeing that I've got something different going on today. I'm working on a Gemstone Oracle board for the D&D game that I am currently running. I'm doing this as a little bit of a palette cleanser because I have some commission maps that are coming in that I just need to kind of get my feet under me for. The next one on the queue is for Marshall, so you guys will see me working on that coming up here pretty quick. Oh, awesome. Myrna says we're good to go. Yay, confidence restored. So just because I need to get my foundation stuff taken care of with Marshall's map, we're not going to start that today. So I'm going to do this as a project kind of to get this off my list because it's on my to-do list, and also to just do something a little bit different and fun. I just wanted to give a quick announcement before we get started to let you know that there may be some interruptions in my broadcasting over the next couple of months. We are a military family, and we just found out that my partner is deploying for a year. This is our first deployment, so we're just kind of getting everything together and spending as much time together as we can before we don't have that opportunity. I'm going to do my best to keep my regular Thursday schedule and to still be available by the Discord. But I hope people can understand if I take some time off here and there as he takes his leave, just so that we have that time together before we don't have a chance to have it anymore. So I will post in advance if things are going to happen or not happen, but I just wanted to let people know that consistency may not be the best thing for me between now and the end of July when we expect him to be leaving. So a little bit of an explanation about what we're looking at for this thing. The campaign that I'm running for Dungeons and Dragons is set in the homebrew world that I have developed for writing my novel. And two of my players are currently in a wizard's library who happens to be something akin to a collector of curiosities. And I'm drawing from that the idea of the curiosity cabinet that was really popular in Britain, kind of during the age of expansion when a lot of the colonialism was going on. And so what would happen is people would go out to foreign locations or even local locations and start collecting biological specimens of different kinds of animals and plant life in different stages of growth, and also things from farther away. So artifacts, that kind of thing. I've got a really fun reference on this by Tashin. And this is a really good example of kind of the drawings that might come out of a cabinet of curiosity, where you have artists doing representations of different kinds of biological diversity, different stages of growth and perhaps decomposition. And these cabinets would frequently have examples of taxidermied animals, collections of eggs, mineral samples, things like that. And so in the library that my characters are currently in, they are faced with a number of these cabinets. And in the cabinets, are various natural objects that happen to be magical. And they don't necessarily know that they're magical. Um, but I have told them that in one of these cabinets is a bag of stones. And so I want for the stones to actually be associated with a piece of literature in the library that tells them that these stones can be used by a certain culture as a way of foretelling the future. So I'm drawing off of neo-pagan influences for crystal healing and crystal oracles. I'm drawing off of Norse traditions of throwing runes. I'm drawing off of various indigenous shaman traditions of throwing bones or throwing shells. And I'm kind of trying to create my own system for that they can actually interact with. So to start this, I collected a bunch of very pretty rocks of all different kinds. There are 50 different stones in here of various different shapes, sizes, and mineral compositions. I know what all of these are because I've been collecting rocks for a long time. My players don't. I happen to have that knowledge over on them, which makes this hopefully a little more mystical and magical and fun. And each of these stones I have written a key for that has a specific meaning. So if they take these stones, the goal is they can. Sorry, you guys. Charles just got home and Saxon's loud. They can draw just a random handful of stones from the bag, and then they can throw them on this board. And where they land on the board, there's different going to be keys of information that go here. And so they'll be able to kind of read from the throwing of this that this is maybe in the future and this is in the present. This is maybe a thing that they have to overcome, like an obstacle. And then maybe stuff over here are the assets that they have in their corner to try and help them get through this thing. I have no idea if my players are going to enjoy this or not. I think it just might be a fun game element to add to things. So I wanted to get this board put together in advance of the next time that we played. So we'd have the opportunity to try it, see if it added anything. And if it didn't, banish it to a corner, never to be seen again. So what I wanted to do today was actually just start painting it, give it some color and some texture, and then have it set up. So I can't remember if I already specified it in this video, but in the one that I did that didn't take, I was showing that this is just a cardboard piece of hot pressed watercolor paper. So it's been affixed to the cardboard surface. It makes it quite rigid. I think that will improve the durability, and it will make it so that this board can go places in order to be played. We frequently play either in my gazebo or at my kitchen table. We're kind of mobile, just depending on where we're at. So I wanted it to be durable. I wanted it to have a sense that it could be used and had stuff rolled on it and stuff without taking too much damage. A standard piece of watercolor paper might not have the same kind of robustness. So that's what I was looking for this. I've done some thinking about what kind of information I want to have on this board. So I was playing with it in my sketchbook, and this was kind of the earlier research stages of what I was coming up with. So I wanted a basic quadrant system. I wanted it to be able to be based on the compass rose so that people would be able to say, maybe we need to go north, maybe we need to go west, because that might be a fun element to have. We're going to have the future, the past, obstacles and assets. We're going to have earth, fire, air, and water. And I'm trying to set up little rules about how this board works. So only the stones that fall within the circle get counted for the purposes of it. And just the middle is kind of the present, and closer to proximity is like now. And then this is more in the future, furthest in the future, more in the past, furthest in the past. A lot of this is going to be really open to interpretation. I have no actual idea if it's going to work in terms of game mechanics. But what's going in our favor is that we're playing in a sandbox world of my own design. So if stuff is coming up that is really interesting that is suggested by these stones, I can actually retcon that into my world building. And if it's not of interest, we can always just say that it didn't work. They either don't have the knowledge or don't have the tools to interpret or whatever. And that's true of a lot of cultural folkways. If you come to them as a secondhand learner, you may not understand the nuances enough of them to get the full depth of it. Translation is a risk no matter what you're doing. So now I look up from talking and there's people. Hi guys. Sorry, I've been so nervous with all of the streaming stuff. It already didn't go well once this morning, and now we're here and it's actually working, and I'm happy to see you. So we have Brian, we have Dexter, and we have John, and we have Myrna and Eric. Hi, friends. I think Gary is probably also lurking somewhere. He's in the process of packing and cleaning to move, which is a huge task. So kudos to him for getting everything done today. Um, and I'm happy you guys are here. I'm super grateful for that. Pardon me while I open up my Diet Coke. It's a Diet Coke kind of morning, not a coffee morning. So, how is everybody? What's new? Am I boring you with my rambles? I hope not. All right, so the first step for this is I'm going to bust out some liquid frisket, and we are going to paint in the areas that I don't want covered with the first batch. I don't know where all of my brushes are. You've contracted the plague. Myrna, that's no good. I'm sorry you're not feeling well. It's a freaking beautiful day here today, too, so it's one of those days where I wouldn't want to be plague-ridden. Tea is good. What kind of tea? I've seen some artists do some really, really precise applications of liquid frisket using a brush. I'm kind of in awe of them. I don't know how to make that happen. I don't know if you have to use a fresh brush every time or what, but I never get those kinds of results. Oh man, it is so beautiful here today. So I guess it's good that you're not wasting good weather with feeling sick. Perfect day to cuddle up though. After this is done, I get to make a birthday cake. It's my friend Charles's birthday is today, and he's staying with us. He's part of the 16 club. It just so happens that a lot of my friends have birthdays on the 16th. So, and I do too, and so does Dave, which is great. So it's kind of a running joke for us. An eyeliner type brush. That makes sense. That makes total sense. You know, I have one around here somewhere. This frisket is getting super thick. Oh my goodness. Wonder if I didn't properly seal it the last time I closed it. You're July 16th, John? That's amazing. One of us. One of us. Guess this means I'm gonna have to like send you a card, hey man? No, I wasn't leaving it open. I swear I wasn't leaving it open, Myrna. Yes, a card. Fine then. We will figure it out. I think I still have your address. Yeah, this is the blue stuff. Let's see if I can get that in focus. So it's a liquid frisket product. Oh, maybe I just didn't shake it. Maybe I should have shaken it. Just a second. Should be storing it upside down. Oh, I didn't know that. Is that to help keep the air out? Like even if it's really full or not really full? Like this bottle is already halfway gone. Oh yeah, that's a much better consistency. Maybe I just needed to shake it. There we go. Well, I sincerely hope I didn't just mess everything up by using a really thick version on the other side. Okay, noted. I will start storing it upside down. Definitely was not doing that before. I'm really haphazard in my approach to art supplies sometimes. It's just like, oh, here's this thing. I know practically nothing about it. I'm going to try using it anyway. Sometimes I would rather reinvent the wheel than buy new tires. It's a terrible character flaw. Oh, yeah, that's a million times better. Okay, excellent. Excellent, excellent. Okay, well, I'm definitely not doing that. I'm using it directly from the bottle. I never know how much I'm going to need, so it's always an interesting thing for that, dealing with it in a palette. I do have another bottle of it though, so maybe I'll do that with the next bottle and be more diligent about being a good artist with proper supply usage. Hey Yuri, there you are. Frisket is the bonsai tree of supplies. You are totally right, Myrna. Absolutely. So what I want to do with this is I want to mask out the layers that I'm anticipating having writing on. What I want to do is have some of the runes and stuff that I've developed in certain points. I'm not really expecting my characters to decode them or anything, although they will be capable of being decoded. I just want to have that flavor of this is the culture that this comes from and try and impart that as much as possible into the artifact that they're dealing with. Much better now that this is a thinner consistency. Woo! What colors is this going to be? I'm thinking that it's going to be in kind of the blues and greens side of the spectrum. I've recently started investing in a new brand of professional grade watercolors. They're Daniel Smith brand. I've never used them before. I got blessed by a friend into owning a bunch that I'd never had. And it's honestly started a bit of an addiction. I've been using student grade watercolors for my entire attempts at working in watercolor. And you can do a lot with student grade watercolors. I am not knocking them at all. They have served me very well. I will continue to use my travel palette of them because it's very convenient. But the difference in tone and pigmentation and just the range of color with these professional grade ones is astonishing. So I really want to just maximize the use of what I've been getting to play with them some more and increase my skill that way. But also just it's fun. It's so fun. So I'm happy about that. I'm sorry you forgot your stuff, Gary. That kind of sucks. I hope that it didn't cause you too much of a hang up. I've never tried using liquid frisket on this particular brand of board, so I'm hoping that this works out. I'm assuming because of the quality of the paper, it should be fine, but you really do never know. Well, I'm glad you could join us, Gary. I hope that it makes your day better. The more that I work with this stuff, Myrna, the more I think that those silicone painting tools might be the way to go for like large laydowns. Might be worth investing in a few and playing with it, seeing what comes up. Sometimes I just love the texture of this so much that I don't want to take it off. It dries and looks like the surface of the moon sometimes. It's pretty great. The peeling is so satisfying. The peeling is like one of the best things ever. One of the people in my mapping group, I haven't seen him around lately, but I really respected him, said that I should set it up as some kind of like sensory thing. Just do videos of just the peeling and post them on YouTube, and apparently people would dig that. I had no idea what he was referring to, but I can get the idea that someone else would find it satisfying because it's really fun. Connecting the wet to the dry is sometimes the worst because the wet dry starts to peel up on contact. It's like, no, don't do that. That's not what I'm after. I am not brushing really hard. It is the combination of the latex hitting the paper. My brush, let me see if I can get that focused for you. It's now rubbery, and so it creates that slight rubber rubbing sound as you work with it. It's the biggest kind of detraction to working with it. But no, that's actually just the quality of my epic new mic. I am not pressing hard at all. I'm surprised you guys can hear that actually. That kind of is awesome and makes me happy. ASMR, that sounds like the letters that he was using, yes. Oh yeah, it totally destroys this brush, Dexter. This brush I only use for this. Every time I clean it out, it rips out more hair. It is the worst. Don't ever use this stuff on a good brush because it will kiss your brush goodbye. Absolutely goodbye. It is a really good thing to have brushes that are no longer like high quality. Like, eventually your brush will just go out of true, it'll die, whatever. But at least you can recycle them into this use. And that is pretty great. Monkeys. The great thing about this stuff is you can peel it up afterwards. So that is helpful. Yeah. Stop. Speaking of peeling up. The chosen one of the brush. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, John, I hear you on that. Dave has particularly weird hearing as well from being on the range with all of the munitions and stuff. It's not that he's deaf, there's just certain registers he doesn't hear well at all. And anything that's too quiet, like he just can't make it out. So, occupational hazard. Dexter, do you have super sensitive hearing then? Like, are you keenly observant? Some kind of weird messiah brush? That could be. So part of the world building that I'm doing is like trying to figure out the religion. And the world that my players are in right now is they're human, and they think that all of the mythical creatures are basically fairy tales, that they're myths, right? And so there are issues happening that are forcing these creatures like elves and centaurs and stuff that have kept themselves apart from humans for various reasons back into contact. And so encounters are happening and people are learning, and it's all kinds of kind of discovery. So there's like talks about colonialism and stuff like that. And part of that is discussing the impact of religion and how human religions have impacted them and humans as colonizers. And I'm really enjoying these things. I think they're super relevant to what's going on in the world right now. But that also means you then have to like create cultures and then create the vestiges of those cultures and how certain parts of them might have survived and been assimilated and other parts not. And that's partly why I wanted to kind of build this board and develop this system, because I think it would be interesting to work with. Like planets and moons, yeah. That's no moon. John. All right, so I'm letting my brush dry a little bit here. There was somebody in one of my mapping groups who was doing, I forget what it's called, an Orbis Geographica. The thing where you've got two, like the two halves of the globe on either side of the map. And I was kind of loosely inspired by that too, just because it's such a beautiful graphic representation of what's going on. It's a tarp. All right, so my brush is now like gummy. You see as I pull, there's nothing there. So Dexter, what I do is I literally just do this. And I scoosh off as much of the built up latex as I can, which of course ruins this brush even more. But it reduces the irregularity of the latex buildup, I guess. So the next time I go to use it, at least it has a like sort of solid single point. I do that until I'm kind of all right, no more else is coming out, and then I throw it in the bucket and it waits until I need it the next time. So I have a few little pieces that are not what I want out of the areas that I want, so I'm just going to peel them up, push them into place. Maybe the brush has a latex kink, Dexter. That's entirely possible, right? This is a thing that could be. So I'm just kind of waiting for that giant splotch to dry up a bit more. I don't want to try to peel it right now because it's not completely dry. I'll edge in some of the oversplash. Clean up those edges a little bit. Shoot. See? That was what I was trying to avoid. And there was me being careless. Charles, is that Saxon?
Yep.
Okay. Guys, just give me a second. My dog is being a mess. I'll be right back. Hey. That's enough. Sorry about that. Apparently Saxon was being sick. Hi guys. Dexter, what does that mean? Oh, okay. I feel a little bit better now. I just didn't want Charles to have to deal with cleaning up after my dog. That is not his job. There we go. Okay. Okay. Nope, still a little wet over there. Okay, so colors. This is what I have right now. Repeat the disc of 5. Oh, like, okay, we use a food pyramid here. In terms of talking about that kind of stuff, where they say that you want the bottoms, the things you can eat the most, and then it goes up to the things you should eat the least. A disc more like a pie graph, I'm guessing. I like the idea of that better. So kind of more like a plate. Hey, that works. I think I've seen that here too, maybe. Same principle. Okay, cool beans. Oh man, I like pie too. What are your guys' favorite kinds of pie? Inquiring minds want to know. If I can find rhubarb in the freezer section today, I am making a strawberry rhubarb pie for Charles for his birthday. Oh no, my brushes are stuck in the tube. Good job, self. Brian, what is that? Yeah, you're welcome. Pie is really good as well. Hey man, sometimes you just have to eat an apple pie in 2 days. I am not going to judge you. Eric, you are completely right and I support your decision. Laura! Hi! Did I miss you coming on or have you just been lurking? A kind of cherry pie. Okay. What else is in this kind of cherry pie? Like cherry and rhubarb, cherry and sour cream. Tell me more. Lurking is acceptable. We love you anyway. What is that? Calories? Yeah, okay. That's true of all pies. They have that in common. So it's a regional thing then, Dexter? I always love finding out about regional food. It's just so fascinating. Okay. What do I think of Overwatch? I think I don't know anything about it. Should I know stuff about it? You should send me a picture, Brian, so that I can see what it looks like. Because I'm curious. I shouldn't necessarily know anything about it. I mean, if it's interesting, I would like to know about it. Saxon, leave Charles alone. Yes, you. Go lay on the couch. Nobody wants to have to babysit you right now. It's a shooter with world building. If it's a shooter, I am unlikely to pay attention to it. I gotta be honest with you. That's not a genre that appeals to me pretty much in the slightest, in life and in fantasy. So I would not have the first clue. It makes being married to someone in the infantry really interesting. Yes, I can pet Saxon for you, of course. Oh, Zarya, yes. I remember Zarya. That's impressive. A tank's rifle, yeah, that would be something for sure. Saxon, come here. Dexter wants me to pet you. Come here. Hi. Hi, that's from Dexter. You're getting pets from the Netherlands. How did you know that? Yeah. Hi. He's all like, what? Now you've paid attention to me. I need to do things. Like, no, you don't. Yes, pets by telekinesis, indeed. So I'm thinking that I want to kind of keep the theme of this sort of elemental-ish. That is a theme that the players are dealing with the culture that this is based in. So I'm just kind of going for a bit of a cloud motif on the outside border here. This is my current favorite blue. It is so beautiful. They remind me of the cloud-like shapes on your map, Dexter. A little bit, hey? They definitely are more ominous. That's the color choice, I'm pretty sure. We get really, really epic thunderstorms on the Canadian prairies. Like, absolutely incredible. And one of the things that I love the most is there's a lot of crop growing where we are. So you get fields of stubble this time of year that are just this beautiful pale white gold. And then you get these thunderheads and heavy clouds with the late snow in them and stuff is just spectacular contrast. Like absolutely wonderful. That combination of kind of indigo purple clouds and the white gold of old wheat is just one of my favorite color combinations ever. And now we're singing Eichel 65. You guys are great and you make my life so much better. I'm super grateful that I'm going to have you guys to hang out with while Dave is in Latvia. Oh, on that note, I will take pictures for sure, Brian. I'll post them to Instagram when next time I see that combination. With Dave going overseas, we have an opportunity to make a couple of overseas trips to see each other over the course of the next year. So it looks like we are coming to Europe. We're definitely going to Scotland because we have friends who moved there that we haven't seen. And then for our second trip, we don't know where to go. So if we end up coming somewhere like Amsterdam, which we were thinking about, Brian and Dexter, you should try and come and we can actually meet in person and go for a coffee because I think that would be epic. Yeah, Laura, it's one of the side benefits of having your partner gone for a year. So the members allowed to come home if they want to, or they'll fly the partner and the partner's family out to some other location that's not the deployment region. So I'm excited about the opportunity. I think it would be cool. So I've always wanted to take Dave to Amsterdam. It's a city that I absolutely love. So it would be neat to be able to go and do that. Yeah, I think it would be fun. Maybe we could go on a walk, take some pictures, have a coffee. You could show me more of the city from like people who live in the Netherlands point of view because I'm sure all I saw the last time I was there was just tourist stuff. And the Van Gogh Museum. Oh my god, the Van Gogh Museum. He's my favorite painter, so that was akin to a religious experience for me. Absolutely awesome. That's fair. That's completely fair, Brian. We could go be tourists together. It might be better though, because then I wouldn't be stuck not having the language. Although I found everyone in Amsterdam just wonderful. There were a lot of English speakers. People were very patient with me when I was lost on the bus. Like, it was just absolutely fantastic place to go. Oh, that would be fun, Laura. That would be very fun. Insider info. Nice. I love traveling. I don't get to do as much of it as I would prefer, but oh my goodness. The world is amazing. Oh, really? I could see that being a little disorienting if that's not your first language. Hey, Brian? Also, I can't promise we're coming to Amsterdam, but it's something I would like to do. I told Dave that I wanted to take him to Amsterdam for his 40th birthday, and his 40th birthday will happen while he is deployed. So it would be really nice. I didn't promise. I just said it could be cool. I know Dave really wants to go drive Porsches. That's one of his things. So I don't know if that means we're going to end up in Germany or what. Or if he's going to go do that without me if he gets extra time off. I will not complain if that is something he does without me. It is not a higher priority in my world the way that it is in his. Yes, I will definitely try to find myself some stationery stores while I am over there, Myrna. Honestly, if you source stuff, let me know and I can do my best to get somewhere and pick it up. And if Dave gets to do a bunch of traveling, there's a possibility he would look for stuff for me too. He's attached to someone that may do a lot of traveling. We're not completely sure. So that would be good with me. Oh, cool. I would like Serbian stationery. I didn't know your parents were going home right now, Myrna. Is it just your mom or is your dad going home too? They'll be back in June. Cool. They must have left right after Mother's Day then, hey? Excellent. Excellent. Well, you guys are welcome to try and go with us if you want to. We can meet there. Once Dave and I have finalized plans, I can share those plans with you. I'm sure that they are super grateful for the fact that you drive them to the airport. I don't know right now if I get to be the person that drives Dave to the airport when he leaves. I'm surprisingly anxious about that. I would like to know. That would be nice. It's a weird thing to be anxious about, but there it is. You know, of all the souvenirs to bring back, I think pencils is one of the most original. Do I need to read that? Or is it enough that you can give me the Coles notes? I need to read it? Okay. I have not had much of a desire to read lately. It's terrible. Okay. I am open to this. You really don't need me to become obsessed to want to go on tours of art supply places, particularly if it's going to take us to Europe. I would go anyway. Yes, missions are good. I am not normally a Game of Thrones watcher. I have seen the last couple of episodes because Charles has been watching them. It seems complicated. All of you need to decide what you're doing about spoilers. I am not arbitrating spoilers. I heard that the writing this season is weird, and I heard it's because this is the first set of scripts that weren't done by Martin, that he handed his notes off to whoever's producing the show. I don't quote me on any of that. I know nothing. All of clouds. That looks intense, right? Appropriately intense. I guess I've just decided that this is the top of my board without consciously meaning to. Is he anticipating dying, Laura? Yeah, Charles was saying that they're very rushed as well. Also, the tactics are bullshit. Like, as somebody who's attached to people in the military, the last two battles that I have seen, I have witnessed more people yelling at the screen than I have in most other situations of television. I love you in your early morning nihilism, Myrna. I didn't realize he was dying. Oh, geez, now I feel bad. Do we know what of? I guess I feel like a responsible human should ask that question. Also, I love that we're talking about dying as two English words to affirm something. That's kind of funny to me. What do I want to do on the inside of this, you guys? Wow, things I didn't know until right now. I feel bad because, like, his work is complicated for me, and I think it's been unfortunately complicated in ways by the TV show, um, which I think was perhaps not fair to him. But he's popular, and it's so nice to have a popular fiction writer who's actually like productive and causing a phenomenon, and I love that kind of thing. So it's a shame that we're gonna lose another one, right? But I read somewhere that even apparently he's not happy with the last couple episodes. So I don't know if there was like a huge departure from his intentions or what in that regard. Okay, go enjoy noodles. Eat some for me. That sounds amazing. Bye, Eric. Thank you for listening. Oof. Okay, that's super dark. Dilution. Eee. Yeah, just don't get in trouble at work, Laura. I don't want to be the responsible party for that. The granulation of this green is pretty incredible. I don't know how well that's showing up on the camera. Do-do-do. Okay, good. As long as there's no worries about getting in trouble. It is nice to have you hanging out. Like, don't get me wrong. I am not complaining about that part. It's not a thing we get to do often. Ooh, that's pretty. Okay, let's do that. Guys, I'm just loving learning how to mix colors with this. Like, it's just so wonderful. Do not know if I've mixed this well. No, it's a little too green. That's okay. That is okay. Guys, there's dog hair and everything. It's unfortunate. Let's put a little bit more blue in there, shall we? That's a little better. Where is that? Oh, come on. There it is. Tiniest salt shaker. So what I want to do with this is I want to create basically a fortune telling oracle that my players can encounter and they can try to use it. One of my players has a heritage that matches the origins of this oracle, and it would be really interesting to see that interaction. And I thought it would just be kind of a neat thing to add. Like, I like props and I like kind of puzzle maps and stuff like that. So the ability to kind of integrate a few more of those types of things in would be fun and unusual, I think. So I can show you how it works if you want, using the sketches in my journal. Really don't know what I think of that green on the outside layer. I mean, it's pretty. I just don't know if it was what I wanted. Meh, we're here. What do we have? Yeah, I think it would be something different anyway. Something kind of fun and not what they're used to. It's not going to look like I expected it to look, that's for sure. But that's okay. I think it'll be interesting because it's going to create an element of randomness to the storytelling that I really appreciate too. Because like, it's an open world, like a sandbox, right? So anything that they perhaps roll with this oracle that is interesting to me, I can add in to the storytelling kind of behind the scenes without them knowing. And I think that there's a lot of really cool creative possibilities for that kind of sleight of hand. So it will be neat to see kind of what comes out of it. So hang on, I'll show you using the... This needs to dry for a minute anyway. Set that over here. So, what I'm thinking is that when this is done, it's going to have a whole bunch of correspondence information on it, right? So we've got cardinal directions, north, south, west, east. We've got air, earth, fire, water. We've got future and past. We've got obstacles and assets. And so what I've done is pull together, like I was saying before, a selection of semi-precious gemstones. There are 50 of them in this bag, and I've keyed them all to a different meaning. And so what they can do is they can pull a random selection and then throw them on the circle. And wherever they land, we can then do an interpretation based on what the stone means and where it is in the relation to the circle. So yeah, it's got elements of tarot. It's pulling a lot from neo-pagan, like Wiccan crystal healing theory, the Viking traditions of throwing runes, a lot of indigenous shaman practices about throwing bones or doing egg divination, entrail divination, stuff like that. Like I have a fair amount of research into those things from my undergrad. So it's kind of neat to be able to pull from that and go, hey, this is a thing that I can actually use in some kind of context now. So I'm intrigued by it. I think it's really cool. I have some fascinating tarot and oracle decks. I can pull this one down because it's handy and show you. So this one is called the Oracle of Oddities, and it combines botany and medical images like bones in an old school kind of drawn style. And so you can use them to, do a reading or what have you. I like these because they're just concepts. So they're really fun to work with. I think they're beautiful. I am such a huge fan of the combination of art. So yeah, these are absolutely just gorgeous. I like oracle decks a bit more than I like tarot decks. I find tarot, it can be really regimented in how you have to read the card, whereas oracle decks are a lot more free association. They do look like they belong on Hannibal Hay. Like they're just like, this is the God card, which I think is so fun, particularly because I love dragons so much. But yeah, like they're just cool, you guys. And there's a lot of like symbolism that you can look into and read into them in terms of your own metaphors and stuff like that. And I think they're awesome. I have an oracle deck that is a fairy oracle drawn by. Do I have one with antlers? Well, this one's got lungs, which is kind of antler-like. And then that's got horns, which is not the same. No. There is no antlers. But yeah, this one is fun. Is antlers important to you, Brian? Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to knock the camera. And then this is another deck that I have. This is a proper tarot. This was done by Stephanie Poyman-Law, who is an artist I've been following for about 10 years. She's a watercolorist. Oh, I guess they were a reoccurring motif in Hannibal, weren't they? I'd forgotten about that. But her work is just absolutely beautiful. And I love telling people about her whenever I can. This deck is really important to me because I watched her paint it while I was on DeviantArt. Like she would post these paintings as she got them done. And so over the course of many years, I watched this deck coming together, and I'm really attached to it as a result of that now, because it's really cool to watch something this epic get birthed into being as it's developing. So yeah. Anyways, I just realized it's 11 o'clock and I should sign off. So I'm going to go. I will try to put some links to both of these decks in the description so that you guys can check them out if you want to. And otherwise, I'm glad we got the tech working this week because that makes me really happy. So yeah, I will tuck these away for now. My shelf is full, of course. So I'll post a picture when I get this thing finished up if you're interested in the progress of it. And other than that, I will run away. Everybody who's going to bed, have a good sleep. Everybody who's awake for the rest of the day, I hope you have an awesome rest of the day. And same bat time, same bat channel next week. Catch you later. Bye.